Today, we will be working in geometry by classifying different types of angles. So we might be thinking, what is an angle? We talk about angles a lot in geometry, and we need to be able to understand the definition of an angle. An angle is a figure made up of two sides or rays with a common endpoint. Now, if you direct your attention to the left side of the slide, you will see different types of angles. And that's what we will be talking about. Different types of angles can be classified as something different depending on their measurement. And we will be going through all the different types of classification of angles. Our first angle we'll be discussing is called an acute angle. When you see the word acute, I want you to think of something that's small and cute. The definition of an acute angle is an angle whose measure is less than 90 degrees. One of those big key words is less. Whatever you have to do right now, I want you to highlight or underline the word less. An acute angle will always be less than 90 degrees. And you guys can look at that example below showing an acute angle and identifying that is less than 90 degrees. The next angle we'll be talking about is called a right angle. And when you hear a right angle or you see a right angle, I want you to think of the word exact, because a right angle is an angle whose measure is exactly 90 degrees. It will not be smaller than 90 degrees, and it will not be bigger than 90 degrees. It is exactly at 90 degrees. And one thing that can help you out when trying to identify and classify a 90 degrees right angle is the box that is created at the endpoint. There will be some times where they will provide the box and sometimes there will not be. So you always want to make sure that you measure a right angle to see if it's directly at 90 degrees. The third angle we will be discussing is called an obtuse angle. Now, an obtuse angle is whose measure is greater than 90 degrees, but less than 180 degrees. Yet again, we have those key words. You want to highlight or underline the word greater and the word less because it is important. An obtuse angle is greater than 90 degrees, but less than 180 degrees. So any angle that you measure that is greater than 90 degrees and less than 180 degrees, you will classify that as an obtuse angle. Our last angle we will be talking about is called a straight angle. And you might be thinking, Miss Cooper, a straight angle looks just like a line. And you would be correct, because a straight angle is an angle whose measure is exactly 180 degrees. And when you see a line, a straight line is 180 degrees exactly too. So that's why you want to see an angle that looks completely straight. You're going to classify that as a straight angle and put 180 degrees. Now, you might be thinking, wow, we have 4 different types of angles, and they all have different definitions and different numbers. So this is why it is so extremely important for you to know the definitions and you to know the names to classify them. So let's recap. An acute angle is less than 90 degrees. It is the Q angle, the baby angle, and when you see that closed angle, it's going to be less than 90 degrees when you measure it with your protractor, and you will classify it as an acute angle. The next angle we see is the right angle. And what do we want to say when we see right angle? We want to think exact. It will be exactly 90 degrees. No bigger, no smaller, exactly 90 degrees. And then our third angle, obtuse angle. Obtuse has 2 keywords, greater and less. And it is greater than 90 degrees, so it's bigger than a right angle, and it is less than 180 degrees, but it's less than a straight angle. Now let's move to that straight angle. A straight angle has that word exact in it too. And like I just said with the right angle, a straight angle is exactly 180 degrees. No bigger, no smaller. So it's important to know all of these numbers and all of these keywords, greater and less, because it's all going to help you in identifying and classifying and even measuring these different types of angles, whether it's in your homework, in activities, or in real-world situations in your career once you have graduated high school. It is important to use and important to know. Now go ahead, take all of these definitions and all of the knowledge that you guys have just learned, and I want you to go get the worksheet from the bin and complete it by classifying all the different types of angles and measuring them.